Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. And now, celebrating 15 years of broadcasting, here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
And welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again, whether you're tuning in on the radio down here in Mississippi at WYAD 94.1 FM. We welcome you all back to our program. Also, just tuning in through our online affiliates around the world. We're glad that you all could join us as well. I mentioned our online audience because our next guest is someone that has literally been able to make her mark on the world. We're excited to welcome back international recording artist and songwriter Jahna Sebastian to our program. We're going to talk to her not only about this amazing year she's been able to have, but also what it's been like for her to share her music and her creativity with the world in so many different ways. Now, of course, Jahna's been with us several times over the years here on Conversations Live. She is someone who's not only made her music, of course, for the world, but also made an impact through the arts and her creativity. We're talking to her about that and what it's been like for her to share that creativity with all of you, as well as what you guys can expect from her going into the new year. Jahna, hello to you, and welcome back to the program.
Hi, thank you so much for having me again on the show. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, and it's always very exciting, of course, because there's always new things and new projects. How are you?
Right. I'm doing really good, and you're right. This year has definitely been another year of new projects for you, Jahna. I mean, I mentioned to you before we began the segment here, of course, you've been, really teasing us with music from your new project, appropriately called, Legends on the Map. The single, of course, Choice to Be Free, you released a snippet of that, been sharing other music with us. What has it been like for you, Jahna, as an artist and as a creative, to be able to not only to create something, but then to see the way that people around the world are responding to it?
Oh, yes, definitely. Everything that I create is actually for the people in the world. My whole work that is directly connected to my life as a human, as a person in this world, is directly reflected in that attitude. And everything that I'm doing is creating this vision for people, and I want them to hear and understand my message because I have a vision for the world, for the times to come, and I'm trying to convey this through music, through the art, through fashion and videos, because I believe that this is the real means that people can understand how to approach life in general. So I'm putting out different messages through our music and showing it through different means of art. And of course, it's the main thing for me is to connect with people from all around the world and to inspire them to be better and to give them the breath of life through music, through my voice, and to give them a new perspective on life and see everything in a positive light as well. So it's always a great journey, and of course every album that I put out is a continuation within the musical book, as I call it, that I'm creating as I go. And it's all reflected with my life and at the same time reflected with everything that's going on in the world. So the way that I'm creating music and everything else in the art, because I'm also doing my visuals, is making everything reflect and also at the same time influence the times that we're in. So the further it goes, the better it is. I believe it's the way of stepping into eventually what I would call the golden age, but there's work that needs to be done, and collectively I'm trying to tell people that it's the power of the people and the power of the human mind that needs to be tapped in right now.
Right. We're going to come back to that, Jahna, because I think you bring up a really good point in what you just said. I mean, you're doing your part, but you also are realizing that we can accomplish and achieve more things together. We're going to talk more about that. I want to talk about, though, how you got here, because I think the thing about you is that, and it's something that it's a philosophy that I kind of have taken for myself, not to allow other people to dictate how far my gift can go, how far I can go. You have your fingerprint on each and every part of what you do. I mentioned that you are a singer, you're a songwriter, you're an engineer, you're a producer. Your projects are created in your own studio. Have you always known that you were going to be in control of your voice and not wait on other people to share it for you?
Yes, definitely. In fact, I remember myself from literally very, very early childhood, as consciously as I remember and know myself now. So I can definitely say that I've had this approach from early childhood because I had these questions in terms of my purpose very early on. And then I decided to become a musician officially to help people and to convey the messages when I was at school and when I was 11. However, also I understood and I was fully connected to what was happening in the world. I was really interested in society and everything that happens all around in different countries as a child as well. And I knew that I wanted to help people. I wanted to give them the knowledge and what I really knew, and I knew that I could help them. So in that sense, to be able to really truly do that, that meant that I had to take charge and be the leader in my life and also lead people when they do need help. And early on, even in my childhood as well, I've come across situations when I needed to help people, and this was the only way for them to come out of difficult situations. So as I went through, I always found myself in situations like that. So in that case, I always had to take charge of the situation and go for the unknown, go for the point where it could be even a paradox. It could be something that you wouldn't even know whether it's how it could turn out, but the belief and the sheer energy and the power of the mind could create a breakthrough. So I started creating music with that mindset. And of course, when I learned every skill, I wanted to become the master of my craft. So I wanted to learn everything about the sound in terms of engineering and production so that I could actually put everything together. So it was always like this. And there were times, of course, when certain people were trying to come into my life and try to control it. However, I knew that I would rather put a team together and work together. I want to inspire people and bring out the best out of them rather than go within the flow and jump on bandwagons and trends and just sit there and wait for people to give me something, some type of orders, in terms of how to direct my creativity. And also, I always just I had this idea for how to make this world a better place. In fact, that even reflected in some of my works, throughout school and throughout university, and then going on, it just became more and more clear and crystallized. And as I'm going through the journey of life, that all is reflected through that. So what I want to really, truly do on a daily basis through my art and for the people requires that kind of attitude, to be hands-on, to be the leader, to truly create the path. And I know my path, and it's a very individual path, and I know how to walk it, and at the same time how to bring people along, because we are putting those legends on the map and creating this history together as people all around the world.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I think that is a voice that definitely needs to be heard more of. Jahna, we're going to talk about that. I want to say for those who are just tuning in, either on the radio side or online, you're listening to Conversations Live. Jahna Sebastian is back with us today. She's an international recording artist, a producer, a songwriter, an individual who's been able to use her creativity to impact people literally around the world. One of the ways you've been able to do that, Jahna, has been through social media, where you've built up a massive following, where people are able to stay connected with the music, but also connected with the journey. You said something recently on Instagram that you shared on Twitter, and I actually just shared it during this conversation, is that, there are no coincidences. So when you kind of look at what you've been able to achieve and where you are, do you feel as though it's a direct result of the work that you put in?
Yes, that's 100%, even 1,000%. I am creating this path. I signed up for it a long time ago, and every moment I'm taking charge of that. And at the same time, that's also a part of why I'm telling people to understand the choice to be free as well. You know, the choice to choose freedom in this life. So that is, I'm trying to live this by example. So everything in this world and in this universe is truly connected. Historically, where are we going? Even if you go into the museums and art galleries, everything is connected. There's energy there in the art, in the artifacts, in the places of interest. People are leaving their marks, and that stays there, and that is connected into the future and from the past into the present. So, of course, everything has an action and reaction in this world. Everything has some kind of causality. And that is why also I'm trying to inspire artists to understand the influence that they have on the audience and the public, because the minute that you're out there, you are influencing people, and this can change their lives. A song and a certain message could literally, create a positive or a negative influence on them, and especially on the upcoming generations. So I would say that everything that I do in my life is definitely fully directed, and that is also reflected on one of my favorite lines from my favorite movie, The Matrix, where Morpheus told Neo that there is a difference between knowing the path and walking the path, and Neo just knew that his path was very, very certain. Even if he didn't know what exactly he was doing, he would just do it anyway, and he would find the power within him because he was equipped with it in the first place. So that is directly reflected to actually how I am in this life. Sometimes I do things based on intuition, and then they turn out exactly right and in the right time, at the right place, at the right time. But then later on, it fully comes into place, and the bigger picture is seen why it's done. And as I said, a lot of the times I'm going against what other people could be thinking is the logical thing to do. I'm doing everything spontaneously and in the moment, following my intuition, but then it turns out to be the most correct thing a lot of the time. So definitely my journey has been a reflection of that.
Right. And that brings up another point that I want to go back to, Jahna, because I think there are one of the biggest enemies, and this is something I've realized for myself personally, especially this year, one of the biggest enemies for any of us when it comes to having a goal or a dream is the lack of patience. So I have to ask you, what has kept you patient? I mean, what has kept you from not giving up when things don't happen tomorrow? What is it that has kept you on the path for the long haul?
Definitely the understanding of my purpose from early on. So I would encourage everyone to truly go deep within themselves and start asking questions. Why they're here, what are they doing here, what is their true purpose, to truly understand this rather than just going with the flow in terms of what society is telling them to do. And everybody's success would be a different type of success. That would be defined not just by the amount of money or the amount of accolades and, achievements, so-called recognition that somebody could get. It's more about how successfully they have overcame or certain obstacles in their life, or actually elevated themselves or learned something from going from this point to another point. What did they learn here? So for everyone, it's important to know that you are coming here in this world to learn something, to develop your potential through this life. And everybody's experience is going to be different. So I knew this, and I knew that I was ready to take the time, and as long as it takes, I'm very determined that what I'm trying to put out there is going to be successful 1,000%, because I always saw it as part of the history that we're all making together. I also know the future of humanity, and I knew my place within it. So I knew that no matter how long it will take, it has to succeed because it's part of that. So I always saw the bigger picture, and I have certain connection to universal knowledge that I'm trying to bring. So that was a part of that. So my advice to everyone who is trying to go for their dreams is first and foremost to really go deep within themselves and try and ask those questions. And that is the beginning of understanding where you're going and seeing the signs, and then paying attention to the signs. There's always signs coming up in terms of what is right and what is wrong, paying attention to the dreams, and of course, knowing that whatever the passion is in, there is a reason why everybody has some kind of gift. So they have some kind of gift that is for them to use sooner or later, and it's not necessarily to become rich. It's possible to to do that, but that is more a side effect. However, that gift is mostly also to be of use to this world, and how it can be also, and people will know that actually when you help people through the gift that you have, whatever it is, it makes you even more happy as well, and it gives life more purpose and meaning. So I always knew that I had and I have the gift to specifically to create this change in the world. So that is the number one thing that has been within me as the, so to speak, as the light within my soul that I wanted to share with the world.
Wow. And that light is definitely shining bright. And Jahna, earlier in the conversation, we talked about what you're able to do yourself, and you've kind of been alluding to that throughout this conversation, but also collectively. One thing that we also get a chance to see is that, you know, you are really big on partnerships and collaborations and working with people of like minds. How has that helped you? Because I think a lot of times that is not the easiest thing to do, but when you find someone who aligns with your passion and your purpose, how has that helped you to be able to make those type of collaborations?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I usually like to work with people that I personally believe in, who have the passion for the arts and for whatever they want to achieve, and the dream that I want to help them elevate. So a lot of the times, as soon as I put out an idea out there in this world, people are being attracted to it. So I meet new talents and new creatives on the way as I go. Literally everything starts to roll out. So I'm always going out into this world with this kind of attitude. So sometimes I could go to an event, for example, and in the morning you just know that you're going to the event. However, on the go, I'm also approaching, and a lot of the times I'm meeting new people because I want to. So it starts from the wish to actually meet like-minded creatives. And then I always see the potential, whatever it is within the person. So I'm trying to bring the best out of them. So that is how the collaborations happen. So if I work with a videographer, for example, I worked with Kevin Hudson. I ended up doing 8 videos with him, and then 4 videos with Alex Riley. When we were working together, and all of those videos were just literally done by myself and the videographer. However, we would always challenge. I would come up with ideas, and I'd say, shall we try this? And the videographer would say, well, I haven't done this, but let's see. And sometimes we would be limited on the budget. However, we won't be limited in terms of creativity. So we would have to find ways. So always bringing up new challenges to really take it to the next level. And then everybody is even surprised in terms of how it turned out, how a video that looks like it was filmed in a massive studio was actually done in a tiny, tiny little place with one camera, but then using the imagination and the skills and learning new things on the go really help. The same thing when I'm producing for artists. When I have singers and rappers in my studio, I know where they can take it further. So when I'm collaborating, I see it as that kind of process, as a moment in time. I never put money as the first thing at all. I am here to create this journey together and co-create it with other people and with the audience and with people all around the world. And that's why I created my platform as well, to really showcase that the true understanding of the creativity within the humans. And I think especially now it's very important to shine the light on that, because we have the age of technology and a lot of people still don't know how to go about it. What is going to be more powerful, technology or the human mind and the human brain and the soul? And I want to shine the light on that actually it's very important to uplift and highlight that the artistic nature in humans all around the world, whatever they're doing. So that's how I am creating these partnerships. And as I said, a lot of the times I meet people and I just feel it straight away, and I know what can be done with them. Sometimes they don't even know it yet, but I already have 1,000 ideas in my head of what can be done, and then they're all surprised.
Right. Well, and we know that is only going to continue, Jahna, which is going to make your journey even more exciting to watch. Again, everyone, Jahna Sebastian has been our guest. She's an international recording artist. She's a songwriter, producer, an individual who's definitely been able to not only to realize her passion, but also to pursue it as she's walking in her purpose. As I mentioned here earlier, of course, the snippet of the song that she released recently is Choice to Be Free. She has an upcoming project, a lot of great things for you all to look forward to. So, Jahna, how can our audience stay connected with you?
Oh, yes, definitely. They can follow me on all social media sites, on Instagram at Multivision Music with a Z, and another account is at Jahna Sebastian. On Twitter at Jahna Sebastian, also my website, jahnasebastian.com. I have 3 blogs as well. One of them is dedicated specifically to Legends on the Map, which is the name of my second album, but at the same time it also means the continuous tour around the world that I've been setting on, which started from New York, from America, and it's a tour that will continue on and on and on. So it's quite an unconventional thing. And also there's a blog, Alchemist TV, and then there's a blog, jahnasebastian.blogspot.co.uk. So there's many different ways to follow my journey, and it's going to only expand and go all over the world, to the east, to the west, to the north, to the south. Literally, let's stay connected. And also 2 of my albums are available everywhere. The Alchemist is my first album, which I released last year. Legends on the Map, which I released 8 months later, and I completed it pretty quick because I already knew, and it's like the second chapter in my musical book. And Choice to Be Free is from my upcoming album as well. So the best thing to do is to follow the whole musical and artistic journey, because everything is connected. Every song is like a page, and every album is like a chapter, and the whole thing is an ongoing process. And of course, I'm also editing my videos and pictures, so there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that I'm actually doing myself. So sometimes people can actually look within that kind of process as well on my social media and everywhere else.
Yeah. So make sure you'll definitely stay connected with Jahna. Jahna, congratulations to you, and thank you so much for another great conversation.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and I really enjoy being on the show. Thank you so much, and I wish everyone to be tuned in to their passion, and also to remember that the main thing about being human is the freedom of choice, and that reflects on everything in life. Choice to be free, choice to choose the career, the path in life, to in terms of partnerships, in terms of people, what life you want to create is very important to know now and to think about. Exactly. So choice to be free is to inspire that.
There you go. So definitely something for us to look forward to, new music from Jahna Sebastian. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. If you all came in late, you missed part of the conversation with Jahna, don't worry. Thanks to our online friends, you all can catch the replay right after we go off the air. The link is already available to our social media site. So head over to facebook.com/Cyrus Webb or go to twitter.com/Cyrus Webb. If you click on the link there, you can listen to the show completely for free and share with your friends from there too. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Make sure you take out time to enjoy some good music as well as a great book. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's make it a great one.